Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to another session with Higher Study in UK. This is Tahia here from Skylark International. We will be discussing study group today. Not that study group need any introduction. However, with the new universities joining in study group, and a lot of students are curious about the scholarship opportunities, the entry requirements, and mostly why foundation or a pathway course is necessary for some students. So we have Dan Watt with us from study group, and he will be giving an information in details and answering your questions. So let's start bringing Dan to the screen. Yes.
Hello, how are you, Tia?
Yes, I'm doing good, and good to have you, Dan. It's going to be another wonderful session, and sorry on behalf of Armin, he couldn't make it today because of his work emergency, and we had to wake Dan up early in the morning, get him prepared. Very quick, but I'm pretty sure Dan can handle it well. Okay. So yes, Dan, a brief about study group. What is it, and what's the behind story of study group? What are you actually doing, and how are you helping the students?
Yes, I think if it's all right with you, first of all, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Very nice to meet you all. And I am up early, and I have coffee at hand. And thank you to Skylark International for hosting us. So if it's all right to hear, what I think would be best is if I just show a few slides about who study group are, and I think it may well answer some of your students' questions. Would that be okay?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, totally.
Okay. Excellent. So I'm just going to rely on technology now, guys. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen.
To the rescue. Yeah.
Right. Let's have a look. Tell me when you can see.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay, just got to get it up again. Bear with me 2 ticks. Right. We'll just wait for technology. Brilliant. So we should be okay now. Share screen. Right, wonderful. So tell me when you can all see my screen. Are we all good?
Not yet.
I think it may well answer some of your students' questions. Would that be okay?
Not yet.
Can you see it now?
No.
Okay, let's have a look.
So, wait.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, no, your presentation is not there yet.
Okay,
Wait.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, no, your presentation is not there.
What I'll do, I think, is just start. I'll start talking, and then hopefully the software will catch up with us. So, welcome to Study Group. What are we? We believe in a world that is better through education.
There you go.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Today, what I'm going to talk through is just our international study centres and a little bit about who we are. So what we believe in is life-changing learning. Students all over the world trust Study Group to provide high-quality international education opportunities every year. We are global leaders in education, so we're very good. We've been in play over 30 years, and we help students come on board and get to a UK university via one of our pathways. So I think this is one of your questions you touched on to here is why is a pathway so important? So a UK or an English-speaking European education is going to give you the edge in your career, and Study Group gives you the biggest choice of programs that are designed to help you bridge the gap, the academic, cultural and language gap between where you are now and where you want to be. So we are actually the first chance for, first and best choice for international students. So I think that's the interesting thing is what is a pathway program? I mean, generally a student coming from coming from a country like Bangladesh or India or China or Middle East, anywhere in the world, to come into straight into a university, straight into a degree without being prepared is a really scary prospect. It's a completely different process than what you think. Study group is here to give you a soft landing, and it's actually research suggests that because coming in as an international student, we are set up for international students. We give you the focus on English and allow you to adapt to the UK. An international student is more likely to get a better degree by coming through a pathway, and that is proven by research. So why should you pick study group? Well, here's 6 really good reasons. So we have the best locations and the best universities in the UK. We've got 18 international study centres spread throughout the UK, and we've got a number around London like Kingston, Coventry, Surrey, Royal Holloway, and then we go moving up England. We have places like Cardiff and Teesside. We have a university course for every budget, and bearing in mind that with some of our partners, we have the most prestigious universities available via pathway. So this is places like Durham and Lancaster and Sheffield, which are all ranked in the top 20 within the UK. So we kind of think with the pathways and the locations we have 4 Russell Group universities. So as you know, Russell Group is a group of prestigious universities. They account for the top 10% of research that comes out of the UK, and we're proud to work with Cardiff, Durham, Sheffield and Leeds. So 12 of the UK partners that we work with are in the top 50 in the UK. Via our foundations or our IY1 and our pre-masters, we offer more than 1,000 degree pathways. So I'm pretty sure, despite whether you want to do anything from medicine to veterinary science to aeronautical engineering, we have that pathway to enable you to follow your dreams and to get where you want to. The couple of other facts here, you might see this come up quite a lot, which is the 𝗦𝗍𝗆 award. So just for those of you who don't know, TEF is a Teaching Education Excellence Framework. It's a really prestigious UK award, and it's set up for certain types of teaching. For us, it's teaching international students, and 8 of our partners are actually awarded gold in that standard. So it's a really great thing to keep your eyes open on. 21 of our UK and European partner institutes rank in the Times Higher Education World University Rankings. So you can be sure that whatever you want to do, study group is there to hold your hand all the way through it. So this is just a quick slide on a couple of the partners that we work with. We don't have Keele anymore, unfortunately. We have replaced that with Teesside University, and I'm going to touch on those in a little bit more detail. So what I'm going to do very quickly is just again, as we 𝗍𝗆 spoke earlier on, I'm just going to touch on what study group brings to the table and what we offer, and then I'm going to go through a couple of our partners with you. So this is the main thing is our international study centres, and one of the questions you will have, no doubt as a student, is why should I do a foundation, or why should I do an IY1 or a pre-masters? Well, the thing is when you come to an international study centre, all of our study centres are part of the universities. You are very much an international student on the university campus. The main difference is that we're set up to specifically deal with international students. So if you come, say for example, you came as a direct admission student, you would find yourself attending lectures every day. You would have no English support. You may well struggle to get the fast pace of it. You may not understand English culture. There'll be a whole raft of trouble that you could find yourself in. And what we actually do is give you that soft landing. So in our international studies, you have full English language support. You get small groups. You get university-linked tutors. You actually get personal tutors. You get experience in university-style teaching. We want you to immerse yourself in university life, so we'll encourage you to join clubs and get in part with the student unions and really take the most of it. But we will allow you also to make friends from around the world, and even more so is that we will give you the best possible skills. So when you finished your foundation or your international year 1, you go on and you really hit the ground running, and you'll be more set up to actually get a really good degree from your chosen university. So these are the programs that we actually offer. So your foundation year is a typical three-term course. So it's September or January start. You can get on an entry with an IELTS of 4, depending on the study centre that you choose. All right. And then once you've got the required mark, which is anywhere between 40 to 70%. So we do expect you to work. The courses are there challenging. Yeah. They are there to test you. But whilst you're going through the foundation, we will get you thinking about your future, about what you want to get from your degree, what career you want. And we'll give you all the skills you need so that when you actually get your pass mark and you pass your foundation, you go on to your 3-year degree. And then you graduate and you get a really top degree from any one of these partners. So pretty much all of our partners offer a foundation course. So just a note, so when you come to the UK for English and for foundation course, you will be required to have a CELT, which is a secure English language test. Okay, so that will be for UKVI, and you can use that from Language Cert, Pearson, Pearson, IELTS, or Cambridge, or Trinity. So that's Trinity, Language Cert, PTE, or IELTS. Now, if you decide that you want to start your course online because you can't get to an IELTS test centre, that's absolutely fine. We're set up for you to be able to do that. You can use a Duolingo score or an alternative form of English, like an academic IELTS, and you will be able to actually study online whilst you're getting your CELT. And then once you've got your secure English language test, you will be able to come to the UK. So a lot of our students are favouring the blended learning option, which means that it gives them the opportunity to get to know their classmates before they come to the UK. But really, if you haven't got a CELT, you don't worry. As I say, you can start online with our Duolingo options. So the next option up is our International Year 1 course. So this is for students that very much want a 3-year degree, and with I11, you can get a course with an IELTS for 4, of as little as 4. Again, it's 3 or 4 terms, but the difference is with an IY1 course is that you can do your foundation year, but it counts as the first year of your degree, so that when you get your pass mark, you go straight on to year 2 of your degree, and then you graduate. So the good news is for your students to hear is that we do have something called ICAS. So it applies to International Year 1 and pre-masters options. Okay, your IELTS has to be 5.5, but there are over 30 types of IELTS that we will accept. We will also accept Duolingo for our ICAS courses. And the good news is you get 1 visa for the whole course. So the universities that we work with that offer ICAS are Huddersfield, Liverpool John Moores, Kingston, Royal Holloway, and Teesside. Okay, so they're really worthwhile knowing. As I say, there are over 30 different types of English that you can use. You can use academic IELTS. If your students are from India, you can use a HSC level 12 pass. And you can also use Duolingo for a IY1 ICAS course. And that will be at a level of 95. Now, you might find yourself asking, why is the level higher? Because as a 3-year degree, you will need to it is a very challenging course. We do expect you to have a better grasp of English to be able to come in. This is why a lot of our students prefer foundation to get that softer language. So if you are considering ICAS and you do want to proceed, with one of our combined visa courses, do make sure that your English is at 5.5, or you do have some of the IELTS available. If you want full information on the alternatives for IELTS, for ICAS, do get in touch with Skylark International, and they will pass me some questions.
In that, if I sorry about the interruption, we get very frequently confused, the students mostly. What is the basic difference between both are pathway, right? Basic difference between an year 0 and year 1.
How do you mean?
For example, sometimes the students has average results. That time the university suggests for an year 0 program, and sometimes they suggest year 1 program for pathway. Okay, so is there a basic difference?
Yeah, definitely. So our foundation program. So for any pathway with study group, we would expect you to have standard good grades, okay, and a basic grasp of English. So what you'll find is that many universities that offer a direct admission for to get into a UK university will have very stringent entry requirements. You may well be required to have GCSEs, A to E. You may, A to C. You may have to have a really high pass on your IBD, or a really good score, maybe over 70 or 80% in your HSC, or a very, very high ALIM or a DACA. So it might not actually meet the requirements to get in directly to an English university. So this is where a foundation comes in. Because we run the international study centres with our partner universities, we can allow a little bit more of freedom, a little bit more leeway. We are there to bridge that gap so that when you've got your foundation year, you are at the level to succeed at a top university. The criteria is very, very, very different. I think, sometimes it's not clear, from a university how much, effort that you need to put in, what the requirements are for a centre like Kingston or Huddersfield or Surrey. The level of education is at a really, really high level, and and many students just aren't at that level to be able to get into a UK university. So this is why the foundation year exists. Similarly, when you look at an international year one course, the foundation year is the first year of the degree. We recognise that some students are going to be at a higher level, maybe not quite enough to go on to a direct admission degree, but certainly capable of doing a 3-year degree, maybe having slightly better grades or a high level of English, which is why we offer the IY1 ICAS courses. Okay, so the other thing to bear in mind, guys, is that if you actually compare research from students that do a 3-year international degree, and students that do either a foundation year and a 3-year degree from us, or a international year 1 3-year degree from us, the research suggests that students coming via a pathway program are going to get better results than a direct admission. Does that answer your question, Tahia?
Yeah, that completely. Thank you so much. So another very interesting question I usually get is: the International Study Center situated within the campus of the university or somewhere else?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, what about that?
Yeah, so this is something that I touched on in an earlier slide. So all of our international study centres are based on campus. So there are 2 exceptions, and I'll just explain the reasons for that. So one of our centres, Durham, which is in Northern England, is a top-ranked, probably one of the best universities in the country. It's ranked 6 in the UK. It's a world top 100. Durham is a slightly different type of university. So it's called a collegiate university. So basically they have maybe 10 or 12 collegiate halls all the way around the city of Durham. And when you first go to Durham, you are allocated one of those colleges, and that's where you study and learn. And there's not so much a big campus as such. So for Durham, our study centre is in Stockton-on-Tees. We provide a shuttle bus to enable you to get to Durham. It's generally a 40-minute journey. There's numerous buses.
That's great.
Yeah, which is and for Coventry University, again, this Coventry is in London. It's in the middle of the city. It wouldn't be the best idea to have a study centre in right in the heart of London. So we actually have it in Greenwich, which is just along the River Thames. So it's still in London, but it's a much nicer place to live. Greenwich is a really affluent area within London. So it's got really high safety ratings. There's lots to go and see. It's actually where the Greenwich Observatory is, and the 𝗬𝗁𝗏𝗏 is based, which is like a 17th century sailing ship, which those students that like a little bit of history. So they are the only 2 sections, the only 2 differences. But the rest of our ISCs, or our international study centres, are actually based on campus, and they allow your students to really immerse themselves in student life. We encourage you to get involved with clubs, unions, take part in sports, run for presidency, start clubs. This is what it's all about, being at university, but we give you that extra support to be able to do that.
Okay. 2 minutes. We'll take a few questions around the common thread. So that's good morning to you. That's my sister-in-law from UK. So yes, good morning, Bhavi, and good afternoon to me, and then you as well. Good morning. And whoever has said hello to everyone. Yeah, so these are actually future students. They will be joining you for the September session, hopefully very soon.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So one question that has been on repeat here is, have you set any deadline for the next September intake?
At present, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen so you can all see my lovely smiley face.
Yes.
In this early morning, so I apologise for the beard beforehand. The answer is not quite at the moment. I think with any, we know that. Let me try and explain. So we know that sometimes it takes longer to get your grade to your side, or wherever you are in the world, and sometimes you can worry about missing arrivals. We are set up so that we have last arrival dates in mind. So let's say, for example, your course starts on September the 7th. We might have a last arrival date of the 21st of September, so there is leeway. We know it takes time to get CAS through. We know it takes time to get your IELTS or your English through. I mean, obviously you might start online, which that's not going to make a difference. If you are in a situation where it's obvious that you're not going to make it for the start date of your course, we will allow you to study online while you're tying up your odds and ends, like getting your visa or having your visa interview or getting your IELTS.
Okay,
so we will, and with our online studies, we use a specialist platform where it's all really clear. You'll get used to meeting your colleagues, and you will be able to come to the UK as soon as you've got the required paperwork. So you don't have to worry about that. We have all of these things in mind. So at the moment, we don't have last arrival dates because we're only at the end of June. Generally, if you're one of these students that is a very lastminute.com type of person, we will still accept applications all the way through August. I've been through 4 or 5 of these intakes now, and I've seen students come to me on September the 1st. I wouldn't recommend that basically. But I have.
That's very last minute, way beyond last minute.
I have seen those come through, and we do allow for that. So what I would say, guys, is that when you're approaching your agent, Skylark, or please make sure you've got all your paperwork, all your emergency contact details, all your passport, any visa, any previous visas, all your qualifications and transcripts, which enables Skylark to work effectively with us so that we can get things moving for you as soon as possible.
So the question was mainly for the O-levels, IGC or A-level students, because they will be getting their predicted grades somewhere in mid of August. Some may fail, some may not do as per their expectations.
Yeah,
so we will have to accommodate somewhere. So I'm just asking as a heads up, because a lot of them are coming and I will get my result in August. Can we still catch the September session? So
yes,
that was pretty.
That is definitely
that's great.
And the other thing to bear in mind is that we will. It might be that we give you a conditional offer, but that is still an offer as long as you're, you might feel that you might have you're not sure what your grades are going to be. You can still apply based on those grades. Obviously, we'll give you an offer. Maybe if your grades aren't up to that level, you might not be able to progress, but we will give you a conditional offer or an offer for you to be able to get a place at university.
Okay, so we'll take 2 more questions. I have one personal question as well. We'll add that up. Thank you, Mizan, for watching. As far as I know, study group does not accept OITC exam, do you? The Oxford International English.
No, unfortunately, no.
It's just Duolingo, yes.
Yeah, it's just Duolingo. It's a bit of maybe something we do in the future. Just to give you an idea, as I touched on in my earlier presentation, the ICAS options that we work with, which is equivalent to 5.5 in IELTS, we will accept Duolingo with a score of 95. We will also accept IELTS indicator as well. Okay, so there are with our ICAS courses, there are over 30 alternatives, that are available, and you can check that by going to looking at the
websites. Okay, so this is one very important question. For example, the foundation student, they get a visa for like 8 months, 6 months. So what is their next step? Like majority of our students, they flew late because of the, the cost, Bangladesh being under lockdown, VFS was closed, and by the time they flew to UK and passed their quarantine in hotel, the visa is about to expire. So what's their next step?
Okay, so again, this is something that comes up quite often. So first of all, I'll mention again ICAS. ICAS is a combined visa. So if you're looking at Kingston, Huddersfield, or Teesside, or Liverpool, John Moores, or Whitehall, Holloway, they offer one visa for the entire stay.
Yeah.
So that's worthwhile bearing in mind. With the foundation, it's a little bit different. So what will happen is that for a start, is roughly 90% of our students do make it for the start of the course. We do expect that there are going to be some delays, around visas and so on at the moment. So we are offering that online start. However, what will happen in a general thing is that the student will come to the UK whenever they're able. Let's say they've studied 2 months online on their foundation. They would still have quite a few months left of their foundation course. We would expect them to come to the UK. What will happen is that if there is a gap of longer than 28 days between the foundation finishing and the undergraduate degree starting, then we would expect the student to return home and reapply for their visa. If it's less than 28 days, you can actually reapply for your visa within the UK. Also, there is an element of the unknown here because of COVID. It might be that there may well be exceptions. I can't comment on that. I don't represent UKVI, unfortunately. Yeah. But if that is the case, we will do our best to facilitate you to make sure you're all right.
Okay. All right. So once again, the deadline is a question, but Bapi, don't worry. There's not a deadline set yet. But as if I quote Dan, do not wait for the deadline. Do not be the last minute.
Please. So, in sense, with our online studies, as long as you've got, you know what your grades are, and you're able to start online by the start date and you've passed all the other checks, you will have that extra bit of time to be able to get your CELTS or your visa. It may be that you study online for 1 or 2 months while that's going through. So, there is that option there for you to be able to do that. But as I say, generally, I prefer to see all my applications in by the end of August. But, we do understand that, sometimes it's not always as simple as that.
Okay, I have a question I experienced since I've been sending students since last year. Do you think that the precast interview study group is a bit difficult than other pathway programs?
No. I think that's a fallacy. I'm a big fan of the precast interview, and I think what you have to bear in mind is ultimately you are going to have a visa interview to come to the UK.
Exactly.
Okay? We're giving you practice to be able to do that. So when you have a pre-CAS interview with us, we are a little bit strict, but ideally we want you to think about what you're, what you want to obtain from your degree, and also as well, I mean, we're asking you all those questions. The UK VI interview is going to be a bit tougher than what we are asking you. So if you can't get through a pre-CAS interview with us, it's going to be really, really difficult to get through a UK VI interview. Generally, it's there because students that do a pre-CAS interview with us nearly always get a visa. We have one of the lowest visa refusal rates in the country, and we have that because we have a really strong, supportive pre-CAS interview environment. So the things we will ask you is why is your chosen university? What is good about your chosen university? What kind of courses do they offer? What's well known about their courses? What the local environment like? what Kingston is like as a city to live in, for example. It just gets you thinking about what you want to do and who you are, and obviously when you actually get to to having that visa interview, ultimately, if you've gone through an interview with us and you passed it, you're going to have a much higher chance of actually getting your visa. So, you know,
and the good thing about your precast, you're giving chances. If someone wants to
yeah,
fail, you have another chance. You don't get that with the UKVI. You fail, and that's the end of your journey.
Exactly. Generally, we give 2 chances on a
Yeah.
on a pre-CAS interview. So the first one, I quite often, as a student, we do understand you get stage fright. We do understand you will be nervous, but we are there to help you with that. So, you know, we will give you as many chances as we need if we believe you are genuine and if we think that you're able to get through an interview with the UKVI. You know, so that is where we are with those.
Okay. So have you, once again, the deadline? So is there any deadline for precast or documents or interview? This particular person, 𝗦𝗍𝗍𝗿, he got offer letter already. He's just asking when can he expect his precast interview to take place?
Generally, what will happen is when you're ready to start and everything is going through, the first thing we will ask your offer to be unconditional, okay, and then once you've paid your deposit, administration fee, and £6,000 of your tuition fee, so it's roughly £7,235, we will book in your pre-CAS interview. Okay, if you fail your pre-CAS interview, you know, don't worry, we will give you a full refund. We're not going to steal your money.
Yeah, don't worry about that. But don't fail. Prepare well. Take as much help as you can from your agent, because they would be obviously guiding you. And make sure your research is very strong, because you're going to study in a UK university. You should, you know, show the interest. Okay, then. So I'll let you get back to your presentation if you have anything to discuss.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to touch on. I think I've gone through pretty much most of what I do. The only one I wanted very quickly to touch on was pre-masters. It is just a slightly different course. It's for graduate students that, again, don't have the right level of degree to be able to get straight onto a UK postgraduate degree. So it's the same basis as a foundation year, but for masters. So you'll do 2 to 3 terms. You'll be required to have a good recognised degree in order to be able to get on that. Now, a couple of differences on the pre-masters is we do allow Duolingo across all of our pre-masters options. So again, it's usually a level of 95 to be able to get on. And also, we will accept a degree taught in English as an entry requirement. But it has to be 𝗦𝗍𝗆 certified. Of course, 𝗦𝗍𝗆 was known as NARIC before, so it's a really easy certificate to obtain. If you have any questions on that, guys, just get in touch with Skylark, with 𝗍𝗆, and they'll be able to go through that with you. So what I'm going to talk about very quickly is just a couple of our partner universities, so that we can actually put a name to some of these names that I've been talking about. So I'm just going to go through very quickly Kingston and Coventry. So Kingston and Coventry are very popular options that we have in London. Every year we get a really good cohort from Southeast Asia. So I am going to just talk a little bit on those. So again, we're going to trust technology now, and I'm just going to share my screen with you. So if you can let me know 𝗍𝗆 when you can see my screen.
So people are until the screen comes up. We get this weird question every time. Coventry and its campuses. How many campuses does Coventry have?
That actually fills me with joy, because it means that at least some of your students are looking at the geography of the UK. So for all of those who figured that out, Coventry is indeed in the middle of England. So it's a northern university. However, Coventry actually has a business centre, an international study centre, and a university campus in London, which is the reason for that is that Coventry has really good business links in London, which I'm going to go through in a minute. Okay.
Yes.
So can you guys see my screen yet?
Yes, it's all here. I hope the others can as well.
Okay, so as you can see, Coventry is a real business experience. So it's a very popular university. Coventry actually, as I said, is based in the Midlands, but we do actually have this we have access to this centre in London, which is incredibly popular. So we're just going to wait for my next slide. So why would you choose Coventry University in London? So basically, Coventry is actually globally recognised institution. So when you join Coventry, you can be really confident that you're actually in a well-ranked, globally recognised institution. So it's actually ranked 13th in the UK by Guardian University. So all of the programmes that Coventry offer in London are delivered with employability in mind. So as I've touched on with study group, with your foundation or your international year one, or even your pre-masters, we get you thinking about what you want to do. We call it career ahead. So we give you help with CV writing, with job interviews, and very much we want you to go out after your degree and get a really top end job. You know, that's where you choose to go and get a degree in the UK, and Coventry will very much help you do that. So all the way through your studies, you will learn all the right good skills like teamwork, business simulation, and also get that really tactile world experience where you'll actually go out and work with local businesses. So it is actually the best location for business. London is known as one of the biggest financial centres in the world. The London Stock Exchange is obviously really well known, and our centre is actually in the heart of the financial district and the startup scene. So you know, you'll really have that opportunity to get involved and see yourself as a big high flyer. So this is a little map to show you exactly where it is. So if you look down here, it's very close to Heathrow and Gatwick. So as I mentioned, the International Study Centre, it's the only one of our only ISCs where it isn't actually on Coventry. The reason for that is the business centre is in London, in the heart of the city, in the financial district. So it wouldn't be the best place to set up an international study centre. So we've actually based it in Greenwich, and as I've mentioned, Greenwich is one of the nicest parts of London. I actually went on a cruise up the River Thames myself quite recently, and you're actually very close to the O2 Arena, the Greenwich Park, the Royal Observatory. You can also see the studies, like the Cutty Sark, which is a really well-known 17th century sailing ship. And obviously, we're very close in Greenwich to the major hub of Canary Wharf, which has, the global offices of really big organisations like Barclays, HSBC, KPMG. So even with our study centre, we are, it is in the right area for you to be. But, to be fair, Greenwich is a really, really lovely area, and it's actually a very, very safe part of London. So let's have a quick look. Where are we here? So just a couple of facts on Coventry. It is a fairly new university with us. As I mentioned earlier, they are one of our universities that have the gold TEF standard, which is really good. And they are actually ranked 13th in the UK. As I've mentioned earlier as well, it's very much career-focused teaching. Everything that we do will get you thinking about what you want to do after your degree. We give you things like work experience, internships. You can do parts or be involved in team leading or group projects. So it's very, very, very much one of those types of universities. So we have the full 3 programs available at Coventry, which are our International Foundation Year, which I've already touched on, our IY1 course, International Year 1, and our pre-masters. I am conscious of time, so I'm not going to go into all the ins and outs of that, but you can see that there's a few of the degree aims that you can go to from our foundation, which is things like applied global marketing, economic and banking, global business management, fashion management and marketing. So for all you future Versace's out there is an option to get into that kind of thing. You can also do international finance and accounting, and for all you want to be hotel runners and tourist magnates, there is a really good pathway from Coventry to be able to do that. One of the things, as you can see, the start dates are September or February. There's 3 terms available. You can get onto the first year of your chosen degree from a foundation. You can get on this with an IELTS of 4.5. And as we discussed earlier, if you will need a CELT for this particular foundation year, but we will allow you to start online with a Duolingo or IELTS indicator. Now, the other thing that I want to touch on that I haven't mentioned is there are scholarships available. So we understand that, sometimes it can be quite expensive to do a foundation year. We will do scholarships on a case-by-case basis, but generally we can do anywhere between usually £1,000 and £2,500, depending. Some of that may have academic calibre, but the general scholarship for a foundation for Coventry, London is about £2,000. Sometimes as well, when you go direct, once you've actually passed your foundation with us and we send you to Coventry University, there may be scholarships available from Coventry directly, but that will be, again, on a case-by-case basis, and we do not guarantee those. But definitely, if you need a scholarship for your foundation year, do feel free to ask your agent, and we will look at that on a case-by-case basis. Our International Year 1 course at Coventry is, again, a 3-year term. There are only limited options from this. It's a September or February start. The course length is 3 terms, and the difference with this one is you will actually go on to the second year of your degree once you've completed your foundation year with us. And the progression degrees available are Global Business Management, Finance and Accounting, and Hospitality and Tourism Management. So the main difference from this one is the 3-year is only 3 years as applied to 4 years with a foundation. You can get on a International Year 1 with an IELTS of 5, and again for this course, because it's not an ICAS course, you would be required to provide a CELT for this course, or a Duolingo or IELTS indicator for an online study. And again, there are scholarships available, so do ask your agent. And again, as I've said previously, we will look on that on a case-by-case basis. Our pre-masters, again, it's a September or February start. It's 2 terms. You can see that there is a ton of options for doing the pre-masters with Coventry. You can go on to do professional bar practice, fashion marketing, project management, human resources management, all the things that are really well known in the business world. Now, the English requirements are a little bit different. You are required to have 5.5 in all subject skills. However, for all pre-masters, we do allow Duolingo, and we will allow a degree taught in English, providing it's certified. So that's all I want to touch on Coventry. I am aware of time, so I want to allow a little time to talk about Coventry with Kingston, which is one of our ICAS questions. So before I go on to that, do any of you have any questions on Coventry?
There is not exactly Coventry question, but requirement needed for study group. Actually, the pathway program for study groups comes when you fail to match the requirements of the main course. So it's actually below 2.50 for master's level, I guess.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so for Coventry University, as long as you've got a 5 in subjects, you'll be able to get onto a degree. You don't necessarily need to have a really high degree pass. As long as you have a recognised first degree, you can qualify for pre-masters with Coventry University.
So I got another question. It actually came from one of my recent student who flew to UK. He's currently finishing his foundation. He won't fail, but he's asking, what if we fail the foundation program? What would happen?
You know what? It does happen from time to time. Very rarely, I must say. Mm-hmm. We make sure we give you all the tools to succeed. But you have to bear in mind that study group, we have over 18 partners, and we also own our own college called 𝗲𝗍𝗿𝗍, which has links to local to a huge amount of UK universities. So we will always endeavour to help you get to a university from your foundation. So, if your required pass mark with Coventry is 45% and say you've got 38, it might be that there's an exception available at Coventry. It might be that we'll help you find a university, an alternative university in the UK, but definitely we won't leave you just swinging in the wind. It's very much, we will get you to where you want to be.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you may continue then.
Good. So the next one I'm going to touch on very quickly. So I'm just going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to have to reshare. So let me just try this again. Joys of modern technology. So I'm going to touch on Kingston very quickly, and then I want to allow some time to go through Teesside University, and I think that would probably be enough. Kingston is one of our 𝗦𝗍𝗶𝗶 universities. Okay, it's a brilliant university. It's based just outside London in a place called Kingston upon Thames, and the thing that makes Kingston really popular is the range of options we have. So we have an international foundation year, we have an international year one, and we have a pre-masters program. Also, we offer a combined visa for pre-masters and international year one, which is really popular. And the other big thing about Kingston is that from a Kingston University degree, there is a 93% graduate employability rate. That's all the students that go through our study centre and go to Kingston. Because of the links that Kingston have in the local business environment, you have a very high chance of actually getting a job through Kingston. And as you can see here, Kingston is well known for its location, its career focused courses, and its entrepreneurial graduates. So Kingston is ranked in the UK in the top 50. It's actually on the riverside of the Thames, which is known as Kingston upon Thames. The university offers all the excitement, that big city experience, but actually in a really relaxed town, just 25 minutes from central London. And then again, as I just said, it's a really career-focused course. It's so well known for its enterprise, and it's a program that gives students really regular interaction with so successful entrepreneurs. And that's people like who've been on Dragon's Den, people that are real business magnates in London. To understand, so you can really get involved and network with students, and they'll also provide master classes and mentoring and access to funding. So, it's actually known as a top 2 in the UK for graduate startups as well. So for all you wannabe Richard Bransons out there, Kingston's definitely the place for you. It is focused on getting you on your feet. We would love to see you go to Kingston and start your own business, and Kingston has the tools to help you concede that. And how do they do it? They've won several awards for that over the years. They've won the award of Association of Graduate Recruiters, and they've won development awards for best preparation for work strategy. So they're really well known in their field. They give you essential workspace experience, so you can actually sit down and go through a number of degrees which include a work placement year, and that's included within your 3-year degree. And it's the same cost as a traditional degree as well, but the placement year provides your students, Kingston students, with a boost in their employability. So really, it's all a focus on real world, real lifetime experience. I mean, you can see just there at the bottom. I mean, that's such a great advert for Kingston, is that we do have regular speakers from commerce and industry come on board regularly, and the speakers that we've had are people like Levi Roots, who some of you may know is a really well-known Dragon's Den contestant. He actually got funding. He went to Kingston. He now has a really well-known sauce called Reggae sauce, which you'll find in every supermarket. He's a multi-millionaire. He's worth about 50 or 60 million, and that is all from going to Kingston University. There's also 𝗦𝗍𝗶𝗶𝗍 who made his career via YouTube. These are all people that have come from Kingston and got the benefits of a graduate learning experience. So again, just so I can allow a bit of time to talk through the Teesside, I'm going to touch on these courses really quickly. So we have our foundation year, our international year one, and our pre-masters. Now, the one I want to focus on is our IY1 and our pre-masters, and that's because they're ICAS courses. So you are required to have a 5.5 in all aspects, but we will give you one visa for the entire course. If your IELTS isn't quite at the right level, have no fear. Kingston allow you to do a pre-sessional English course. If you have a skill from 4.5 in one aspect, you can do a one-term pre-sessional English course, and that will be included in your combined visa. So there'll be no need to come here return home and reapply for your visa. It's all done on one visa. So as I said, the requirements are a little bit higher, 5.5. If you're below that, you'll need to do a pre-sessional English course. There are kind of limited progressions from the International Year 1 business option. I'm just going to try and find that now. You can do accounting and finance, business and economics, digital business. We will expect you to have over, as I mentioned, there are over 30 alternative versions of English you can use. So we would just expect you to have a really good grasp of English, but you can do that with academic IELTS. We'd accept you lingo as a straight acceptance onto an ICAS course. There'll be certain qualifications that are registered, that are accepted as well. So again, just get in touch with your agent if you are interested in our International Year 1. It's the same with our pre-masters. This one is also an ICAS course. So we would expect you to have a 5.5 in all skills. We will accept you lingo, and we will also accept an ECTIS certified degree taught in English. So just because I want a little bit of time and I am really relevant of how much I've talked, I'm going to skip on to Seaside. But before I do that, do you guys have any questions? I will also add that there are scholarships available. Again, just feel free, please, to ask your agent, and we will arrange those on a case-by-case basis for you.
All right. So you have covered all the question actually. I guess the question we will have with T-side is that, is the tuition fee of the same amount, or it would be less?
You've just taken out taken the words from my mouth. So we expect T-side to be a very popular option. Actually, I'm really pleased to announce that it is our cheapest option on our portfolio. So for T-side, for the internet, there'll be 2 courses run this year, which are in November. So you've got plenty of time to get your degree and your grades through. It's an International Year 1 ICAS course. So again, we will accept the IELTS alternatives. It's 5.5 in all aspects, but I'm really pleased to announce that it is only £10,000 tuition fee. I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's pretty much the lowest for foundation courses.
Yeah. So it's an IY1 course. So it's not T-side won't be offering foundation this year because they are a new partner. It is our first intake. But I'm pleased to announce that we will be offering both a business and a science and engineering pathway. So you'll be required to have good grades, standard grades. So we will look at all options. So don't worry if your grades are not quite maybe at the highest level. We will try and consider you. For the science pathway, we will expect you to have a pass in mathematics. So it doesn't have to be a high pass, but we will expect you to have a pass in order to go on to the science pathways. So we expect this to be really, really popular. We are seeing a lot of applications come through. So do try and get your applications in earlier. And for the first few students that come through, we will be allowing a £1,000 scholarship on that tuition fee as well. So there are really good options. We expect it to be really, really popular. The other good news that I'm pleased to announce is once you progress to the university and you've got your pass from our course, there will be scholarships from T-side University as well of up to £2,000 for year 2 and 3.
Okay. That's I'm pretty sure it's gonna be on demand once we start, advertising. And thanks. Congratulations on making the announcement here. Yeah. Okay. So other than that, so it's gonna be an ICAS as well, or like they have
it's just purely for this first year in November. So as I reiterate, it's a November intake, which gives you guys plenty of time to get your IELTS in order, to get your language qualifications, to get your degrees from, or your grades from your courses that you've been doing, or your OLIMS or your DACA. You have lots and lots of time to be able to do that. But critically, that there will, it's not a big gap in study for you guys to worry about when you're coming to the UK. But yes, it's just an International Year 1 combined visa course. So it's 3 years. You'll get the visa for the whole course as long as you have 5.5. But again, because it's ICAS, we'll accept all of those alternatives of various versions of English.
Okay. So I guess we have covered everything. Other than that, once the student finish their bachelor's, what's your suggestion? Should they straightway go for a master's, or do they take advantage of
It's entirely up to you. So, I mean, with all of our courses, you're allowed to work for 20 hours part time as part of your degree. You can also do something kind of after you've completed your degree, which is a 2-year post study work visa, which is available. So you might decide that you say, for example, you do a degree at Kingston and you get into the world of business, you get offered an internship or a job, you go and study, work for a year. There is nothing to stop you applying for a master's, and you would be seen as a really credible student for that, because you've actually graduated, worked in that right field, as a result of your degree, and now you want to further yourself even more. So, the world's your oyster, really, and we will welcome you back as a master's candidate as well.
Okay, that's pretty great. Thank you very much, Dan. So, do you have anything else to cover?
No, I am actually out of time, so do forgive me. I do have to run off and do another one of these very shortly. So I'm sorry.
Are you giving another proxy for Armin, or like it was yours genuinely?
No.
Or you just dumped everything on your left?
Yeah. I'm afraid this one is more of a boring internal meeting, but it's been. I will say thank you so much for your time today. It's great to spend time with Skylark as always, and we look forward to speaking to your students later on in the academic year. And feel free to reach out with any questions or any help with scholarships.
Sure.
So thank you all so much. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. And
thank you so much.
Cheerio. Take care.
Have a good day.
Cheers to
have a good day. Bye-bye. Okay. That was another wonderful session with Dan 𝗲𝗏 from study group. So if you have any more questions that you need to ask or clarify your confusions, you can just have a visit to Skylark International. We're situated in Nashork, Sylhet. I would request you to bring along your academic documents that help us to process faster. Other than that, you can find in the description box all the details you need to know, how to contact us, our WhatsApp phone numbers, email IDs, whatever you need to know. So September session deadline is nearly there. So we do urge you to not be the last minute option. Come fast, do start your processing as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Have a good day, everyone. This is 𝗦𝗸𝗆𝗿𝗍𝗔 from Skylark International signing off. Assalamu alaikum.